Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel for another video on Marvel Contest of Champions. This is all about ISO farming. What is the best methods? Where do you go? How is it achieved? Is it better of an endgame perspective? Of course, we're going to cover all aspects in this video. Also, if you're new to the channel, please consider hitting the subscribe button. Also, if you're looking for other grind guides as well as champion reviews, hit up these playlists here. But without further ado, let's focus on how you get the ISO as quickly as possible and the best methods for it. If you're new to the game or you are very much a veteran of the game, you'll know that the sphere-like things are absorbed into things like leveling up champions. And as you go through your travels through different types of quests, as well as different types of chapters of different acts in solo, as well as the monthly quest, you'll pick up these quite easily. The more difficult the content, the more value that you pick up. Also, it's not just there, it's all about getting them from crystals. If you awaken a champion or dupe a champion, you then pick up a lot of ISO for your trouble. And the same thing applies with the more rarer the champion, the more increased storage level of the champion, the more ISO you're going to get when you dupe that character. Ah yes, but you knew all that, didn't you? Of course. Well, what are the easiest methods to get them? Because I've been at that situation where I'm like, man, I've got no other ISO, what am I left to do? Where do I go from here? Initially, I would hope that you are striving to be in an alliance or have considering the option of being in one. And if you're in one, that's great. There's loads of other things that are going on in the meantime. You've got your 3-day events, you've got Summoner Advancement, as well as Alliance Wars. All those things together mean that you're generating shards. And what do shards make? That's right. Shards for champions, champion crystals. And champions, the more champions you get, the more chance of getting ISO from these particular things. I would recommend at this point to do as much as possible grinding out the monthly questing. Now, I know a lot of people, when they get to an endgame perspective, shun things like heroic. And maybe that's the case that they're generating huge amounts of shards. But every little counts. If you're at lower level, like I said, do as much of the questing as possible just to pick up ISO as you go. As you're doing it, you'll also pick up gold along the way, but mostly because of the ISO, that's very important. But also because of the shards. And what do shards make? Champion crystals. And what do champion crystals give the answer? And kind of the logical thing? Yeah, it's the duping. We get the duping. So that means we can get more ISO from that. Now, if you're coming to the point you're absolutely desperate, you've done all the monthly questing, then what do? Well, go into some of the proving grounds. They're not going to generate a huge amount, but also it will be enough to say, right, this is going to be able to at least aid my rank up process if you're looking to level up as well. What's next? Well, the dailies, the daily proving grounds. Whether or not it's a class specific one or whether or not it's just a standard proving ground, there's grinding available for this. So do this in order to benefit from getting some ISO for level up purposes, which I assume is the reason that you need ISO desperately. The final method, which I think a lot of people don't want to hear, but it is a gate to opening up possibilities for the future. What you're doing now, your grind, is going to reflect where you are in several years. It definitely happened for me. So arena, yeah, hitting milestones. Now, people do turn up their nose and go, I don't want to spend too much time grinding arena. That's fine. There's methods to get to the milestones quicker, and that is through arena boosts. BAM have been putting in arena boosts into arenas for a little while now, and these do benefit the player. These boost crystals can help you to get to milestones just so much more quicker, and also be handy when you're grinding out for, say, a champion that you really want to get. But mainly for the purpose of this video, it's all about hitting milestones to get Prem crystal shards. But also hitting up a good enough rank will largely take you to the next 4-star, 3-star quicker. And like I say, this is the point of then more shards equals more opportunity to get more champion crystals. And at the point of you getting more champions, it means more opportunity to then dupe those characters. The more Prems you open means at some point you're going to get 99 signatures for 2 stars. And this will mean that's a point you get max signature crystals. Why is that so important? Well, it goes into a domino effect, no pun intended. But the fact is you're able to generate more 3-star shards, which is going to mean you get more 3-star champions, which again, if you dupe them, you get increased amount of ISO each time. You're putting the foundations in to make it easier for you at a later point in the game. Also, the same thing applies for 4 stars as well as 5 stars with better signature crystals. So that means when you get the 4 stars and the 5 stars, you're going to get a hell of a lot of ISO at a later date when you awaken a champion. Especially when you're newly starting off the game and going, right, I've got a 5-star, oh, I've awakened it. There could be a negative and a positive to that at the same time. Positive could be you've got the ISO. And remember, if you're never going to get the resources just yet to kind of get it up higher, and the ISO will expire at some later date. Selling it is important. Don't let it expire. Do sell it, because then you'll need the gold as much as you'll need the resource. So it does very much go hand in hand there. So yes, Arena seems to be the way for free. If you are looking to put money into the game, then you'll probably go for featured Grandmaster crystals in order to get that quicker, or maybe just standard crystals in order to get yourself to a quicker point where you're getting more dupes of champions, and the more dupes you get, the more ISO you get, of course. And you don't have to spend all the time in Arena. As long as you do stick to your monthly quest, you can still generate a good amount of ISO. But it may be a case that you'll be grinding out for 2 months to get a huge amount in order to level up a champion. So please consider balancing it, because the more time you spend in Arena, the more units you get. Units can be used for energy refills to then go and repeat quests through in order to get more ISO. You also have the option of looking back to try and repeat through back some easier content. And this could mean whether or not you're at a point where going, do you know what, I did Act 5 a lot easier at this point, and therefore going back to something in, say, Act 4, where there's a lot of ISO on offer, you can then go and do this to get a huge amount. And in fact, where I used to grind out with questing was in this one here. So this is Act 0.4.4.3. So the boss being War Machine, I think it's called Threat. And we would go down the bottom route here, picking up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 4-star chests, and there used to be some good amount of ISO that's coming out of them. Unfortunately, do watch out for the Juggernaut boss if you want to go up against this kind of like, I treat it as more as a mini boss, because it gets chaos, and obviously with that unstoppable is really, really annoying. So it's up to you whether or not you feel comfortable to go down that route. I would probably say bring your strongest champion. I used my rank 4 blade at the time. Now that I've gone up to 565, I kind of avoid this. And like I said, I go down the Arena route. But it's up to you whether or not you feel that you want to take this, as it will need your strongest champions just to kind of blast through. Maybe give it a test. You know, what can you really lose on this subject if you want to do questing over doing Arena grinding? So we have it, guys. That has been a video all about grinding out ISO in Marvel Contest of Champions. If you enjoyed this video, then hit the like button and subscribe for more Marvel Contest of Champions based content. If you want to become a member, hit up the join button, and that will allow you special access to Discord stuffs, as well as special emojis, which if you come to my live streams, which you should do, 1900 hours most days, then you'll be able to use them and also interact with me as well. Thanks so much for supporting this video, and I shall catch you in the next one. Bye bye for now.